absolutely exciting for me to have so many parents sitting with me. In fact, when we started in 2013, we had 10 parents. So it was a very small group. We all sat together in one circle and we shared what we want in terms of what we are doing at Valiants. And then last year we had around 100 parents being a part of it. And this time I think we are going to have 2 sessions. We have to stop the registrations and say, look, we can't accommodate too many because it gets too crowded. And then maybe 2 sessions is what we are going to plan this time. What is exciting for us to see is the mindset of parents. Right? It's not just the number I'm talking about. What we're observing is somewhere the parents have started believing that the current education system, something is not okay. What we don't know right now, but it looks like I think my child is going through too much of stress, too much of strain, such an young age, first standard has got examinations. Seriously? I don't get it. So somewhere the parents have started believing that something else is necessary for my children and what is happening right now is not right. And so this search, the fact that you have come to Valiants to understand who we are, what is the philosophy that we follow, itself is an indication of the parents' intention to explore possible ways of educating the child. In fact, these are the very interesting times for all of us. Even if you look at CBSE, earlier I think when all of us studied, rote learning was the important thing, right? If you know the answer as per the textbook, you got the answer, you got your marks. Otherwise, one word here and there, you didn't get it. So we all ratified everything. Okay, Newton's law of inertia. A body at rest remains to be at rest and a body in motion remains to be in motion unless and until an external force applied on the body to change the state of body in rest or in motion. Everything you have to say. You miss one word, you don't get marks. But now things are changing. In fact, even if you look at CBSE, the current format of the examination that they're going to conduct for 10th standard is going to be competency based. That means they are saying it is not about just reproducing what you know in the text, it's about applying what you know. So 50% of the questions in the board is going to be competency based questions. So earlier it was all about memory. And we always dreaded this. People who had got good memory got good scores here. Not fair. I understood the concept well, but somebody has got better memory. So today it's moving. It's moving to a stage where people are also saying, the board is also saying, I think competency is more important than memory. So keeping all this in mind, it looks like, the future of education, how it's going to be, is not what it started off with. I think all of us are aware of this, right? Education came after the Industrial Revolution, where the most of it was kind of a industry-based kind of a concept. The way you sit, the way you talk, the way you interact, everything was like that. So things are changing. So at Valiants, we believe education should be enjoyable and it should be relaxing. Not for children, for you. Because parents get stressed when children go to school. And also the idea that we are trying to be more futuristic in what the child needs to know. 15 years from now, 20 years from now, what is required for the child to be successful is not known to any one of us. Maybe a year back, we did not know something called ChatGPT existed. Today, research is going on using that. You can write your research papers with that, and colleges abroad are accepting it. Okay, you take ChatGPT as your source, but try to give us more information about it. So things are changing so much, and robotics, AI, my God, so much is changing. And 15 years, 20 years from now, can anybody say what's going to be there? Impossible. So, what should education do then? What should we be doing as educators? That's the question that all of us have to ask. It's 9:45 now. We'll just sit in silence for a minute. And my request to all of you is, when you sit in silence this time, just express gratitude to someone or something that has helped you to be what you are today. At least in my life, I will never say that. I have not met anybody who can say I am a self-made man. Even if I say that, at least my body has helped me to become who I am. So I can be grateful for my body at least, right? So my request to all of you is just take a minute and in that silence, just be grateful for anything or anybody or maybe a list of people that you have Just to say thank you. Just to say thank you for what you've done. And then we'll stop. Am I audible to all of you? Clear? Is the speaker fine? Yes. Anybody wants to know the signs of silence? Why silence? I want to say it, so I say it. See, when the whole universe was being created, right? What they say is, of course, the current very acceptable theory about coming of the universe is your Big Bang theory. Currently, that's what is being accepted. We don't know what they'll find later. So what they kept saying is that everything that's there in the universe could technically fit a tip of a pen. Because they condensed, all the materials that was there in the universe was condensed to such an extent that it was the space that was required for this was absolutely nothing. And from there the Big Bang actually happened, is what the theory talks about, isn't it? Now, if you look at it, what was created first was actually space. Right? Because space was created, then you had these planets and all this coming up. Then you had the whole universe being formed. So the first thing that was created was space, and then actually time was created. How? When you have space, you have got point A and point B, and to go from point A to point B, you require time. And so time was created. So the first thing that was ever created before the whole thing was started off, even before the planets, was space. Now what is silence? Just to put it in a very simple way, silence is the gap between two thoughts. Is a space between two thoughts. Now if you can imagine, if the whole universe can be created by space, individually what we can all become by just being in silence for something. Because you're creating space between thoughts. The whole universe was created just by being quiet, just by the space that was created, right? So what about us? So even if you're able to sit in silence for a short time, the child will not disturb me anyway, it's fine. So even if you're able to sit in silence for a very short time, imagine, because you're creating space between two thoughts, the potentiality or the possibility of something beautiful to happen to you increases multiple folds. Even the monkeys want to listen to this. Just close the doors, please. So my part of request to all of you is that it should be possible. I should not say if it is possible. 2 minutes in a day, just before you have dinner, just ask yourself, have I sat in silence for 2 minutes? It's difficult to ask. 2 minutes. 2 minutes of silence. And then you do whatever you want. And just wait and see how the magic unfolds, how things will happen to all of you. Why Sujay, silence and all this, talk about children and values. See, it is like this for me. Whenever I have an opportunity to meet a group of parents, a group of people, I've always felt at the end of the meeting that we finish, whatever time it takes, there should be something that you have learned from me and something I have learned from you. There should be something that you take away from this session. Of course, about parenting, about the child, about Valiants, about academic aspects of it, administrative aspect of it, we will discuss. But then, as you know, we will not be able to accommodate all of you in Valiants because of the limited seats that we have. But at least those, all of you for that matter, if you can just take something about you should change. By the end of this session, something should change. Something you should be able to say about yourself, not about knowing the child. That's the next thing, about yourself. And for me, it will definitely change because if I'm repeating something so many times or saying it to so many people, then it becomes necessary for me to follow it. Now I'm bound now. Otherwise, you will catch hold of me and say, Sujay, you spoke about it and you're not following it. So it's a commitment for me. So the more people I speak about it, it becomes a commitment for me. So shall I share something else for you to change? See, the thing is only this. We always try to become better in one specific role of our life. But we are forgetting that we are a core. We are, as a human being, we are one. And we are playing different roles. So if you really want to make a change in a role, you have to make a change in the core. Then everything else will be in place. So I'll take up this session in three distinct parts. The first, I will share something with you which I feel will make you reflect upon yourself. I've never believed that anything is right or wrong. I'm not coming from a judgmental point of view at all. I'm just sharing what I feel that we need to know, or we have probably forgotten our back of the mind. The second aspect is, I will share one aspect about the child. Because one thing that all of us need is parenting. However old the child is, 24, 25, 21, 6 years, 3 years, all of us need parenting tips. We need to know how to parent my child first of all. So I'll give you one parenting tip. One aspect of the child I'll let you know. And then I will take up the session which will talk about Valiance Academy, our philosophy and the choice that you can make. It's okay. So the first part. So whenever we think of this word ego, how do you feel? It's bad, no? Oh, I have ego, it's very bad. People say you've got ego. But let me put it in a different format. I think ego is good. Why? What is ego basically? Ego is fundamentally defining who I am. Right? It fundamentally defines who I am is my ego. That's all. I'm sitting here today, whatever I am in this institution, uncle for children, which I prefer to be called as. So that is also my ego, because I am called something. That's my identification becomes my ego. So if it is good, then what is about it? What about this ego? In fact, if you look at it in a very simple terms, just to define ego in my perspective, from my perspective, to define ego, it is anything that you hold on to becomes your ego. Anything. I do not drink coffee. That's your ego. I go to the gym every day. What is ego? Identity. My identity is I'm a healthy person, so I go to the ego. So anything you basically hold on to becomes your ego. The beautiful thing is, as long as you are using ego, it is good. But the challenge is ego starts using you. Now how is it? One of the things that ego does to us is, irrespective of the outcome, suppose you say something and it comes true, how do you feel? How do you feel? Very good, no? It is not about the outcome, it's not about the positive outcome, even if the outcome is negative. For example, you will tell the child, don't run, you will fall. And that guy falls. How do you feel? Well, really tell me. Outwardly you are saying, come, I'll patch you up. But internally you are saying, I told you no, not to run. I told you no, not to run. So somewhere your ego is getting massaged because what you told came true. You're next to God only, yeah? Well, what you said came true. Not, that is only God only can do, right? So that's what happens to us. So the challenge is, how can we hold on to these aspects? At least my request to all of you is, Can we drop the ego at least with the closest relationships that we have? Starting off with your child. No, we get ego into the child also. So can we drop that with children? Of course, between husband and wife, I leave it to you. but the child at least, you can let it go, right? What is so difficult? Okay, now Sujay, thank you so much. We understand the ego. What to do about it? How can we let it go? So, you should always give a solution, right? Only giving a problem statement is not going to take you anywhere. So, I'll give you a solution. A very simple 2-step solution for you, which you can practice it from today. The first thing that you will do is, when something that you say, positive or negative, comes true, you will not say, I told you so. Simple. Is it difficult? Not even in your mind. Because you first will think in the mind and then not say it. It is equally powerful. So please don't do that. So anything, what you said was right, what you said was not right, was good, not good, irrespective of what you said and what happened to it later, if it comes true, you will not say, I told you so. Simple. And the second, this is very easy. This is definitely, you should do it today. Today you will definitely do it, because when you, after Saturday and Sunday usually is eat out only, no. Restaurant time only. So I will give you one for today. Otherwise, this will take some more time. So what you do today is, when you go for your dinner outside, allow somebody else in your family to order food for you. You don't order it yourself. Simple, no? What will you order? Paneer butter masala all the time. And that dal makhani. Let you eat some stuffed capsicum, which you have never eaten in your life because you always wanted paneer butter masala. It's fine. It's fine. So, very simple 2 things to do. One, giving you an immediate aspect that you can do, and enjoy it. Just enjoy the process, especially do it for children. Today you tell the child, today you order for me. I will not order. You order for me. What will happen? Nothing. You will eat edible only, you will get it. You eat. So, just make sure that at least with children we don't hold on to the ego, because we have seen a lot of challenges that children face because of what you put into their minds, because of how you treat them. So, can we start with that? Very simple 2-step process. I will never say, I told you so. And today evening when you go out for dinner, you will allow your child to choose for you. And just see the joy of the child. These are all priceless rewards you can get if you miss. Just see the joy in the child's face when you say, okay, today you order from me. So brilliant. Just try it. So the first part for you to change about the ego. The second part, second section that I had in mind was to share something about the child. Now, technically as Montessori elementary adults, or once adults really being with children in this age group, we are referred to as storytellers. You know why? Because every concept that is introduced to the child is in the form of a story. Why stories? Because I think all of us know what we heard as stories when we were small. We never forget it. Of course, they used it for various purposes as model stories and all that, but the idea is that when something was told us in a story form, we never forgot about the whole thing. So, can I share the story with you? So, you should all behave like young children, okay? Don't behave like grown-ups. And don't ask adult questions to me. Only children question you ask, I'll answer. Ready for a story? Long time you have not heard a story, I'm sure. Nobody told you a story for a long time. Today I'll tell you a story. So there was this boy who was living with his master in a forest kind of an area. This boy was very inquisitive about nature. Environmentalist is what you call in your, multiple intelligence theory of Howard Gardner. No? So we'll not use all that terms, we'll leave it there. So this guy basically liked being in the outdoors, observing butterflies, observing insects, whatever is there he was observing. So he was always fascinated by butterflies. So many colors, keep flapping their wings. So he always used to look at the butterflies and see how beautiful these creatures are. One of those days when he was passing by, he was able to observe the butterflies laying its eggs. Actually, you can do it. Don't ask how, you can do it. When you can actually see butterflies laying eggs if you are observant enough. In fact, children have seen it in school. And you are aware, right? Every butterfly has got something called a host plant. It's not that all the butterflies go to all the plants, something called host plants. So this butterfly was laying eggs. He was very excited. I think this coming of life for a child is such an excitement, you know. Yesterday, in one of the environments, the fish gave birth to fishlets. So the entire community was excited. They were standing in a queue to look at those young ones. So yesterday was a brilliant day to see them excited about life being born. So beautiful. So this child was extremely excited to see these eggs being laid. So he also knew the eggs will also, you know, they become caterpillars, they have a pupa, they become butterflies. So he was very clear about what's going to happen to it. But he wanted to observe it. So he kept looking at it. Eggs hatched, they became caterpillars. They started using all the leaves in the host plant and eating it up and becoming really bigger and bigger and bigger. And one fine morning he saw that this caterpillar was getting into something inside. So it closed itself, what we call as a pupa. It closed itself. Now this child was wondering and seeing what's going to happen to it next. He knew the butterfly is going to come one day. So he's closely observing, trying to see what's going to happen next. And one fine morning when he was close to that plant and the pupa there, he sees that the butterfly inside is getting ready to come out. In the pupa, it's just getting ready to come out. He's extremely excited. He really wants to see this butterfly fly. But as he sees this butterfly trying from inside the pupa, he sees that this butterfly is struggling very hard. You know, it's not able to come out. It's a very small space. The butterfly is very big, wings have developed, so it's struggling very hard. So in his, compassion to the butterfly that was inside, the boy says, I'll do one thing, let me help this butterfly. Right? Let me help this one. Because it's struggling, I can see it to struggle. So he takes something which is pretty sharp in terms of it, he could open it. Very carefully and very gently, he just cuts open the pupa. And then the butterfly is out and it falls on the ground. It falls on the ground, the body is still fat and the wings are still weak. So it's not able to fly. So it just stays in the mud for some more time. And then it could not do anything, it cannot fly. So it just dies. So this boy just cannot control his tears. He thought he's helped the butterfly and now he's seen the butterfly die. He just can't control this. He runs to his master and says, I just can't believe what has happened. I wanted to help this butterfly because it was struggling in its pupa and it fell down and it died. What did I do wrong? My intention was only to help it, right? How did it die? What did I do for it to die? And the master, being master himself, he just says in a very calm tone, you know what? The struggle of the butterfly is what is required for the butterfly to fly. The transformation of the butterfly comes because of struggle and because of patience. Because when the butterfly is struggling inside the pupa, the body fluids, scientifically you can go and find this out, the body fluids in the butterfly goes to the wings and the wings become stronger and the body becomes thinner. And that struggle that is there is required for the butterfly to fly. And then the boy understands that though his intentions were right, his actions were not aligned to those intentions. Now, what's the moral of the story? See, what we have been observing is, especially after this 2 years of children being at home with all of you, somewhere you have become very protective about the child. Very, very protective. And you just want to make sure that everything is going right for your child. Nothing should happen wrong. The child should not fall, the child should not get hurt, somebody should not speak loudly to the child, somebody should not touch the child. So many things in your head. Yeah, when you look at it, let me put it this way. When you look at the physical development of a child, if a child wants to walk and the child is falling, will you go and say, I will walk for you? Will you do that? How many of you have said, oh, you fall so many times, you sit down, I will walk for you? You will not do it, yeah? What will you do? What you will do is you will help the child to walk. You will not walk for the child. You will make sure that the child has some support, some kind of a thing there. You will hold his hand. You will also encourage the child to walk. Come, 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 come. You can make it, you can make it. Haven't we all done this? As parents, we have all done this. But what about the mental struggles the child is going on? Shouldn't you help there also rather than trying to stop it from happening? You want the child to be happy all the time. He should be smiling, he should never cry. So if he cries a little bit, give the mobile phone. Correct? No? So my request to you is, please understand all these things that the child is going through in terms of an adult, if you term it as a struggle, please understand those struggles in your terminology are required for the child to face life. If you're trying to protect the child in all these aspects, then you're not preparing the child to face life at all. I'm saying this to you right now at this engage because you have to start understanding this. Otherwise, it's becoming very paranoid for us. So many parents, I don't know why, it's so attachment. Nothing, the child should not fall, should not get hurt. Seriously? I keep wondering, what is it that you want? In fact, one of the people have told, no, the best place for the ship to be is in the shipyard. But the ship was not built to be there, yeah? It is supposed to be in the ocean, it's supposed to face those tides, it's supposed to go across oceans. That's why the ship was built. So my request to you, all of us, I am not getting here whether right or wrong. I am leaving it to you. I am just leaving it to you to decide whether your intentions to help the child, is it helping the child to become what the child should be in life in time to come, is a decision that you should be taking. No, you don't ask me, Sujay, if the child falls, you should or not. I'm not asking you. You do whatever you want. You want to protect the child, overprotect the child, you want to hold the child tight, you don't want the child to listen to any single word outside, you want the child to be completely clean all the time, so the dress that you wear and come should always be as it is. If all that you want, I'm okay with it. I leave it to you to decide. But my only question that I'm going to ask you is your intentions and your actions aligned? You want the child to be free one day, right? I'm sure that's what all of us want. It's a scary thing, believe me, for the child to become free one day, but that's the truth. The child has to be free. But your actions are holding back the child. So how are you preparing the child? Yeah, the physical aspect of it is very visible to all of us. So we allow it to happen. But when it comes to mental aspect of us, we are so very protective about the child that we just don't want the child to go through the process at all. So I leave it to you. It's your call. So do you want to be the boy who will cut the pupa and allow the butterfly to fall? Or will you allow the butterfly to make sure that its wings become stronger, body becomes thinner, and then it takes its wings and flies the minute it comes out of it? The decision is yours. The call is yours. But my responsibility was to bring it to your awareness. Because especially these 2 years is, whatever happened, happened, but what is the effect of what has happened is still not gone. We are still living in the same era, the same way we are behaving, many of us. If you are not, great. If you are, reflect upon it. So, just a matter of reflection for all of us to just rethink, just be aware of it. There's a very nice line that they say, prepare the child for the road, for you cannot prepare the road for the child. Prepare the right child for the road. For you cannot prepare the road for the child. So many potholes. Which pothole will you stop? Potholes are like lessons of life if you reflect it upon yourself. So you can only prepare the child. You can't prepare. You can't go and tar every single road in Bangalore and say, no potholes. My child has to go a smooth ride. No. Before you finish one more pothole, 10 more will have been created. So that's a rainy season. So, see the very simple tip for all of you, right, as a parenting. So what we also feel is, see, there are many simple aspects that we need to understand about being a parent. Very simple things. They are not complicated stuff. They are not very sophisticated stuff to become a parent where you can actually nurture the child. But we also understand the limitations that we have as parents. So what we will do is, earlier I used to say that, we will, if 15 of you, once you become a part of Valiants, 15 of you, if you have anything to talk about, make yourself into a group, come and ask us, we'll talk to you. Today I'm opening it to all of you. Not only to all of you. Anybody in your circle. Okay, see, what is the idea about what we have? The idea that we have is, we should see that we are able to reach out to as many children as possible. Doesn't matter whether they are part of Valiants or not. Can I help that child? To the parent is the question. So, I'll put this open to all of you. If you have a group of 15 parents who are having some challenges in bringing up your child, or having some challenge with your child, or not able to understand how to parent your child better, you take an appointment with us, and I will sit with you and we will go through it. We'll give you some more tips on parenting. Now I make it more specific. This is like saying, come home. See, when people say come home, no, they're not very serious about it. You only tell me. When you say come home, are you serious about it? Chuma, a social formality. So many times you not come home. All that we have, see, what I'm saying is all what we have done only. So I'm not absolving myself from it. But then, when you say, you come home on Monday at 4 o'clock, that is invite. So let me invite you to be a parent. So what I'm saying is, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, between 4 and 6, if you have a group of 15 parents, take an appointment and come and meet, and we will address any aspect of parenting that you want. And you can spread it to any number of parents that you want. It's not limited to you. It's not limited to the group that are here. It is open to any parent who wants to understand their parent. Good enough invite? Completely open? So now whether you make use of it or not is yours. You know, we are open to it. We'll sit with you. So second part of my session was done. First was about your self thing. Second was about your child. Now about Valiants. See, either I can sit here and talk. Of course I will talk, because otherwise if I don't talk for the next half an hour, 45 minutes, we'll all get disappointed. We all came for the orientation, preparing. So I will share some aspects of it. But I think more than we talking to you about the philosophy of it, the idea of it, why we think the way we think, I think it is best for us to get a feedback from the parents who have been with us in this journey. You know, what I'm going to talk to you is going to be still philosophy for you. You know, it's still in terms of in the air. But parents who have gone through the process, the child has been with us for so many years, they are the people who have experienced the process. They've experienced the thought process, right? What we are thinking, why we behave, what we do. Why are we doing what we are doing? Is something that will only come to you over experience. You will only be, you only believe me right now, but if a justification is given in terms of somebody experiencing it, I think it is much more better for all of you. So we have requested parents to come and just share their thoughts with you regards to their journey in Valiants with their child. And what is it that happened to the children? And in fact, it's also nice for me to hear from them. See, very often we don't get a chance to hear from them about these feedback. So we also enjoy when they come and share some things with you. So just call upon Aarti and Nagaraj. Thank you. Please come. So Aarti and Nagaraj are the parents of Adya. I think I will not talk about it, because if I start talking about the child, I can say so many things. So they are from grade 9. The child is from grade 9. So please sit down.
So thank you, again, everybody for giving us an opportunity to talk about our experience, right? Ours was a serendipity, happy coincidence. Just knew about Growing Wonders. We put our child there, and from then on it's been like a great journey for us. 9th grade, and then she was in Growing Wonders. She was there for 3 years. We have grown with Valiants. Just 3 things that I'd like to say is what Adya has definitely learnt is morality, empathy and spirituality. Spirituality not, I think, consciously, but a lot of conversations happen here within the school that kind of nurtures all of these emotions. I think these are 3 aspects that really came out in Adya's character.
I think one other thing that I would want to highlight constantly is the fact that how real the education system has been out here, right? At least the kind of education system that I have been exposed to has been extremely idealistic, right? And I've never been a good student. I've never scored beyond 40%, 50% in my life, never ever, right? And largely, that was the only thing. I used to despise getting into a room in order to sit and study. I've always found means and ways not to study, right? If my father was there, he would hit me again, right? That's how my schooling has been all through, right? And that was the single largest thing that I never ever wanted my daughter to go through, right? Even today, the only thing that I continue to tell her, is like, this is your potential as per me, right? Stay true to that, and that potential of hers has evolved constantly, and that is something that you get to see day in and day out, you know, and the ego Sujay spoke of, you know, that is constantly growing in me, you know, and the other thing is this, that with this school, right, it is not just about the conditioning of the child, it is the conditioning of us as parents, you know, and for me, parenting has been, you know, an accident, you know, there is
no rule book for parenting.
never ever, you know, I think most of the things that I continue to do with my daughter is what my father did to me, or what my parents did to me. They have not raised a bad kid in me, right, my parents, right, but that is what I go back to, right. What Sujay did with respect to ego and that butterfly as a story is line 1 of chapter 1, you know. There are many more such sessions that you should expect out of this particular school. And whenever we have raised hands in terms of seeking help in terms of parenting to ensure that we are doing things right for the kid, right, they've always stood by us and they've always supported us, right. So it is the conditioning of the child, it's the conditioning of us that has typically happened, you know. And I don't know what my daughter is, success, failure, good, bad, ugly, right? Whatever she's because of this school right here, you know, and I owe it to them completely.
And what's worked for us is basically, see, when do we feel or think or deliberate about our child, right? When we look at our peers, other children, and these things. And for us, the template is already set from 50 years of education, what we want the child to be and all that. We don't agree on a lot of things, but what we agreed on definitely is we will not stick to that. We wanted an education which didn't have a template that everybody else agreed on, but for the child, you know, it gives a path to kind of live life, right, with things that matter, especially now in the age where we can't predict what is going to be the future of careers. Every day it is evolving. If you develop your competencies, a child can get anywhere. I've been in corporate for 22 years and I've seen this very closely. Of 100,000 kids that graduate employable is only about 10%. Right?
We are recruiters, by the way.
Yeah, recruiters.
Both of us by profession, we are recruiters.
Oh! Brilliant, now you see.
So we see this, yeah, it's not only in Nadia, it's in every child. We talk to every child, it's magic in every child that we see, the conversations that they have. It is very different. And Sujay told about storytelling. That is what is, again, nurtured here. In corporate, now everybody talks about, you know, storytelling and having context. At least I studied the same thing that my daughter's probably studying. I don't remember anything. When Nadia is talking about French Revolution and these things, I can't remember all those with the love of God. But, you know, when you talk to her, she's telling me it is a story that comes out of her. Math is intuitive. Why? Because the basics were so strong when they were doing Montessori. Math is very difficult for most of us, right? But it gets easier when it is intuitive in your mind. And that was what was nurtured here. So yeah, we've been happy parents.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
And by the way, Adya is a fantastic, beautiful and a wonderful child, and she really grow up to be something phenomenal. Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir. Sityagra, please.
Thank you everyone. Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to come and share some of my experiences here. So usually when we experience something nice, we go and talk to all our friends about it. Whether it's a good restaurant, good movie, you know, it's natural for all of us to go share with other people and say, hey, you should go watch that movie, you should go eat in the restaurant and so on. So to us, Valiants is something like that. I tell almost all my friends about how great an experience it has been, and it's all the better because in a movie or a restaurant, it's like short-lived. It's a transient experience you have, and you just do it and then you forget about it. But here, it's been like part of our life. Valiance has been part of our life, our family's life. Right? So a little bit background. I have 2 children. We have 2 children. My wife couldn't be here. The elder one went through conventional schooling. So he went to CBSE, normal education system. The younger one, by accident, like Adya's parents mentioned, we put him in Montessori system, not in Growing Wonders. He was in a school called Shiksha. It was accident. Just thought we'd give it a shot. But Shiksha itself was transformational. We thought, wow, this is something different, because we didn't know anything about Montessori. And then that principal referred us to Valiants, and we put our child here. So at that time, I think we were probably the second batch, right? So we were just the second batch in the Montessori elementary system. And it was a big chance, because everybody around us was questioning, hey, what are you doing? Why are you putting your child through this? It's untested, there is no data point and so on. But we just went with it, because when we met with Sujay and Pratima and others, we were convinced that we make a decision, at least in my case, it needs to appeal to your heart. Right? So you see something and you feel convinced and you just go with the decision. So even though at that time it was a little bit of taking a chance, we just went with it. But boy, are we happy. 9 years later, it's been a fantastic transformation for us. So I'll just share 3 things with you as to why I'm saying all these things, right? So that you get a sense of what it is. Because if we talk, I can keep talking and I can probably overshadow whatever he's talking about. So I'll keep it short. There's 3 things to share. So when we started the first few years, it was all the standard Montessori kind of learning, where multiple classes, they will be joined together. Kids will learn together as a group. Let's say 3rd grade, 2nd grade, 1st grade will be together. The older kids will help younger kids. Sometimes younger kids will help older kids with some concepts and so on. And that was by itself amazing, because you could see in our child the enthusiasm for learning and enthusiasm for sharing what he has learned with other children, and it was brought home. So we were very, very happy with the way the system was done. And not only that, the kind of loving environment that was set up, and every auntie and uncle that Shreyas would talk to and we would interact with, it was all the same. It's like amazing, full of love, and the kind of positivity that the child brings home was amazing. In fact, in the initial days, Sujay and the teachers used to say, don't teach anything at home. You will spoil what we are going through. It was difficult for us. We had to kind of unlearn what we had learned with our first child, because in the regular CBSE system, we are supposed to teach and coach and so on. Here we had to take a step back and let them take its course. It was a little difficult initially, but it was amazing. The way Shreyas learned so many things, not just standard things, but for example, he learned 4 languages, English, Hindi, Sanskrit, Kannada, which was like unbelievable. Such a young age, learning all that, and the kind of concepts he would learn. Everybody would say he would talk beyond his age in terms of whatever he is picking up was amazing. So the learning that we had from the school was just phenomenal. Then the second decision point was when the school moved here. Initially the school was in Jayanagar, then it moved here. There was another decision point. There was no building. We came and saw it was like open land, and we had to decide to continue with this place. And at that time, I think we didn't have CBSE approval also. So it was another kind of big decision point for us. But again, we went with our heart and said we have to go ahead, because what we had seen in the first 4 or 5 years was just amazing, that we had to continue. And then the way the campus came up, it was just beautiful. Initially it was just land, and Sujay showed us a video as to visualization of how it's going to be. It was fascinating, but what came up is even better than what we saw in the visualization. So the campus itself is so beautiful, and our children get so much to do here. So it is not about conventional education, but they get to do so many other activities, from planting trees to observing butterflies to you name it, playing, so many things. So school has been much more than just conventional learning, right? So that's the second thing that we are really, really happy about and proud to be associated with it. And finally, the last thing I would mention is, apart from let's say learning and let's say other activities and so on, something unique that I found here with the school and especially with Sujay is they instill a sense of self-reliance in kids. So what I see in Shreyas compared to my elder son Siddharth is he's always confident. He's always he takes up things and he does things on his own. He takes initiative. Right? And when as I've been involved, I could see where it is coming from. For example, any cultural program that they have, children come up with what they will do, what theme they will pick, who will do what, and so on. So every little thing, even I believe food, they get to decide what will be done. But then they has put a rule saying you cannot waste food. You can get whatever you want, but don't waste food. You have to eat whatever is being offered to you. So not only do children learn regular subjects and sports and other things which you will get in other schools, you get a lot more soft skills, which I believe is much more important in a child's life when the child gets out of school. Because conventional learning, most of us would know, whatever you learned in college, you hardly apply in your job, right? So if you learn like 100 things, maybe 10 things you would use in your job, 90 things you would have forgotten. But all these soft skills, they stay with you for a long time. So that is something that I'm really grateful for, and I'm so proud to be associated with Valiants. So I'll just end with this. So life is full of decisions, right? We make decisions and then we have to live by our decisions. And to me, the decision for us to put Shreyas in Valiants has been a really, really great decision. Even though it happened by serendipity, we just went with the flow. But it is a decision that I'm really, really happy about, proud of in my life. So thank you.
In fact, I'm ever grateful for our parents for having believed what we did. Because when we started off, as rightly said, we were in Jainagar, a small campus, 10 people coming in. And then the trust that they had, thinking that, yeah, something is different about the school, let us see it out. And then when they came to the campus, so true, nothing was here. So thank you, Nagraj, and thank you so much for giving us that. What we are today is because of the parents like this we have. Because of the support that we have from them. Otherwise, you would not have built a school like this, not possible at all. So ever grateful to all of you. Thank you. Thank you so much. But I could have heard for some more time. So call 3 more parents and just hear it, sit there and listen to all this. Feels good. When somebody says something good about you, will you feel good? So it's all right. You feel nice. So why Valiants? Why this space? Why this philosophy? It would have been so easy for us to just go with the flow. And yeah, Sagan and Akti and Nagraj, if you would like to carry on, you can carry on. Thank you so very much. And thanks for your time. Thank you. And thanks for what I'm listening. Thank you so much. So it would have been very easy for us, right? there are so many templates already there. CBSE schools are in number, so just try to follow the same thing, give the same structure, have the same kind of teachers, teaching methodology. It would be very simple. So why this difference? Why this thought of doing something different? See, if you look at life as such, and why am I referring to life all the time? Because it makes sense actually. For all of us, right, there will be some aspects of life which will be a turning point for us. Some issue or some aspect or some situation or some circumstance that you go through which allows you to change the direction of your thought process. In fact, for all great people, you look at it, that's what has happened. So for me, what happened was I was called to be one of the guests in JSS public school. So I was sitting there, I finished my talk, I came and sat, and all the children were coming and performing. It's a cultural day event. So I was sitting and observing the children coming and perform on the stage. First, the first standard children came. And somehow there was one child who sat right in front, and the child's eye was just sparkling. I'm sure all the children's eyes will be sparkling all the time. But for me, that day was special. Something was supposed to happen to me on that day. So the child eye was sparkling. Maybe the light was so, I don't know what it was, but it was literally looking like a diamond to me between this, right, like a diamond stud. So beautiful. So I really enjoyed looking at the child sang well, and they went. Then the second grade children came, they went, third grade children came, went. By the time I saw the 10th grade child coming and performing on stage, one significant thing that I noticed was the glitter in the child's eye went on diminishing. The first grade child, the eye was full of light, full of enthusiasm. Second grade child, something less. Fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, they're all drooping only. Lost already. So I always wondered, what has happened to these children? When the child came to us, when the child came to a method of education where they should be enhanced with their life, enhanced to learn, being full of love to be with the children, and also the process of learning, what is it that has made the whole thing go down? Why did the glitter of the eyes, of the child go away? What happened to it? So then it looked like there's more of the, the system that has followed. The stress that comes in, the kind of pressure that we put on the child. Looks like these are the criteria where the whole glitter in the child's eye, the enthusiasm to live life itself is lost by them. They just want to pass the exam, learn something, rectify something, go right, get some marks. Lost, completely gone. So that was a turning point for us. The turning point for us was, can we build an institution? Can we build a space where it will have one single goal? The glitter in the child's eye will remain as long as the child is here. That's all. What about education, Sujay? That we'll see later. What about maths and science and social studies? That's later on. Fundamentally, if the child can have enthusiasm in life, can the child be happy in being in a space? So that was the single most important criteria for us to say, we will start a space where the child will be happy. And that is what we have done today. So Valiants is a space where children are going to be happy. Do you want anything more than that? Do you want academics or beyond that? Academics will happen by default, yeah. If the child comes to school and we are working with the child, giving them concepts from 8:50 in the morning to 3:30 in the evening, you think they will not learn? They will definitely learn, but being happy. So the turning point or the start point for Valiants has been that child, unknown name, unknown child, but that child was a trigger for us to start up a space like this. And of course, from Growing Wonders, when we start off with Growing Wonders, many parents, when they finish 3 years of Growing Wonders, they always wanted to say, what more? Why can't this method be extended a little bit more? I think most of the Montessori people who go to Montessori system think about it like this, right? 3 years, my child has been happy and nice. Now, what is it? Why shouldn't there be a method that can carry it forward? So those thought processes of many parents, those prayers of many parents has actually helped us to build Valiants the way Valiants is today. So it is an answer to all the things that we have been asking. Today, as I said, we started in 2013 with 10 children. Today we have 220 children with us, and up to grade 10. So this is the first batch of 10th grade children who are going to write their board exam. So we are absolutely, all of us are excited. All of us are excited. We would really like to see how these children are going, not only in 10th standard board, but we really want to see them, not about their exams, we're excited about they going into the outside world. Because now we want to see them whatever we have prepared them for the past 10 years, and some of them the past 13 years, we have been with these children, and we would like to see how are they going to be in the outside world. What is it that they're going to do there? That is the excitement for us. Board exams is not. Board exams is secondary. The way they're going to treat the world, the way they're going to nurture the world, the way they're going to adapt to the world is something that's going to be exciting for us. And we are waiting. And all the children have promised us, they'll come back and tell us, right? So they have said, one more, my child is sitting here only today. So she wanted to be a part of it. Understand that, child? So apart from, see, for us also, right, every day is an experience for us. Every single day is something that we're learning. And just share a couple of things to understand how the children think when they're in an environment where these kind of, the freedom is given for them to be who they are. So we have chess boards inside the environments also. So I went and I was playing chess with one of the children on one of the days, and then we were playing and I was almost winning, and I saw this child making a wrong move where I could really go and kill the queen straight away. So I stepped back and said, you know what, I think this move is wrong. Would you like to go back to the move and play it again? The child said, no uncle, let us continue. It is not about the child saying no uncle, will continue. It's about the fact that the child feels I should play a fair game. When uncle cannot take a move back once he moves, I think I should also not take a move back. It is not about winning or losing. Truthful, no? If the child can understand fairness is what life is all about, I think everything else will be taken. That's one experience that we had. The second experience that we had was really moving for all of us. When the children are in 10th grade, we take them to a Himalayan trek. So, yeah, Himalayan trek only. This time they reached what, 12,000 feet, 11,939. So we reached 12,000 feet. There, Bugyal was the place where we took for the trek. So as we were traveling there, one of the days we had to have lunch, and it became too late because the travel time was too long, and it was raining and all that. So we were not able to find space for us to eat because the cities were far away. So somehow we found a place. It was raining, and then it was 3:30 in the afternoon already. We had no lunch, so we went on searching for the space where they can make us some food. And then we found one small place where food was being prepared. So we told that guy, you get shut it down already. He said, can you do something for us? So he agreed. Simple thing he did. So we got all the children, we were all eating. So the first thing that we did was we knew the children were very hungry, right? So we first made them eat. We first gave them all the rotis, the curry and all that. Now after they finished eating, the next thing that they did is really moving for all of us. They said, uncle and auntie, you sit now, we will serve you. And eat properly and take your time. I think that is enough. Now, if a child comes us to us, I never told you this. If the children come up to us and say that you have to eat now and we will serve you, I think that was love enough for us to understand what we have done with these children. Because when you take children outside the campus, you really know what you have done with them. Inside the campus, it's a very defined space. Their behavior, their attitudes, is all very defined here. But when you take them outside, how they are defines who they are. So that love and the affection that they showed to us was a proof enough to say, guys, what you're doing is right. Whatever you're doing is right. Continue what you're doing. It's good for the children. So just to experience, to share how things are. What I want to share with you in terms of the session today is, I would like to talk to you about the child of 7. Now why this child of 7? Because there is a transformation. The children who are 6 years of age and the child who is 7 years of age, they are not the same. So I'll tell you some aspects of it that is necessary for us to understand. Then I'll talk about choosing a monster environment, how you choose it, what is a primary monster environment, what is it that we do in the environment. I'll talk about I'll brush you talk about the philosophy and the practices at Valiants and the structure that we have, and also maybe some of the challenges that we may have in this journey. Everything has got one and the other side, right? It's not that everything is. So I'll also let you know what are the challenges that we have with children, and also to prepare you to understand where it's going to come from. And then I'll share some aspects of the administrative aspects also. See, why is it I want to share about the child of 7? At any point in time, when we understand what is going on, the way we are going, what are we going to do in any situation? If you understand why it is going on, you will respond to the situation, right? That is, what is response? Response is coming from an intellectual state of mind. That means you know something and so you're responding to it. Because we don't know what is happening, we react to it. Where is reaction coming from? Reaction is coming from an emotional state of mind. So there's no logic to it. So if something is not okay, you just shout. Because you don't know what to do about it. But if you know why it is going on and why the child is behaving the way the child is behaving, you'll not shout at the child, you'll understand the child and respond to it. It's not that you'll keep quiet, but the way you're going to say something to the child will be from a responsive state because you know what is going on, rather than from a reactive state where you don't know what's going on. So I'll share that aspect to you. And also let you know, if the child of 7 or the child who is just coming from the pre-primary environment to grade 1 and beyond, if their state of mind or if their thought processes is X, isn't it necessary for an education system to match those thought processes? Today, right now, I am so confidently talking in English only because I am assuming all of you are understanding English. So what does it mean? The communication between me and you is clear right now because the language that I am using and the language that you can understand is the same. Now what is happening in other systems is, the child has got some other language of understanding, the education system is doing some other language of understanding. That is why the struggle is. Suppose I start talking to you in Latin today, which I don't know right now. If I start talking to you in Latin, we will not understand anything. Is it your fault or my fault? Whose fault is it? Both of us. I'm in the wrong place, you're also in the wrong place. I should either be talking to you in English or you should have known Latin. So the question is, if we understand the child, if we know what the child actually wants in this age, and then align the philosophy or the method of education which makes the child understand the way they are right now, this is their nature, I think will that not be the most appropriate way to educate a child, rather than trying to tell them this is what you should be doing? So that is the reason why I will share some aspects of the child of 7. Now, in Montessori terms, or in terms of the child's development, if you look at it, the children who are come to age of 7 are referred to as a second plane child. That means the first plane child is from 0 to 6. There is a subplane which is from 0 to 3 and 3 to 6. And the second plane child is from 6 to 12. So the child who is coming from age of 7 is a second plane child. Now, for a second plane child, the physical, psychological and physiological changes are happening. Again, physical changes are very easy to notice. The drop, the falling of the tooth is a very easy thing to notice. But however, that's only physical, you can only see it. But also there are changes happening for the child in the brain, in their entire system. So we need to understand that what the child is going through right now is far greater than what you can imagine. Why? One simple reason is, see, from 0 to 6 we refer to as an absorbent mind. What does it mean? The child is just absorbing everything in the environment, just the way it is. Now when the child comes to 7 years of age, now there's too much of information in my head. So the way the brain has to function is it has to prune it. That means what? It has to keep information necessary for it. It has to take away information that is not required for it. Pruning is basically a gardening term. You prune the grass, you prune the plants, right? That means you take away that you don't want. So exactly the same way, even the brain wants to function. So one of the aspects that's happening to the child right now is, the child is trying to delete or take away information that it feels it's no longer necessary for it, and to hold on to information that it thinks it wants. Isn't it a big thing to happen for the child? Phenomenal thing to happen. But we are all, but we just want the child to be the same, behave the same way. Yeah, when the child was, so for them, for this thing to happen for them, they take time to settle down. They take time. And this very similar thing happens to the children when they are in teens. These cycles repeat, 0 to 3, 6 to 12, 12 to 18 is the same as 0 to 6. Take my word for it, if you have an older child in your house, a child between 12 to 18 will sleep longer hours. Have you observed that? They want to sleep long, they want to get up late, they want to get up late and sleep late also. But they want to sleep during the day. That's how exactly you and your child, when they are 0 to 3, behave. They want to sleep for longer hours. So the cycle repeats in patterns. So we need to understand, now the child is 6 years of age, there is something going on in this child. So if I understand my child, I'll be able to relate to this child better. So what we refer to this as, we refer to this age as age of internal consolidation. That means the child is consolidating whatever the child had learnt or whatever the child was exposed to in the environment from 0 to 6 years of age. For the child who was 0 to 6, he was very cute for you. Very cute child. Whatever you said, he listened. Everything was in its place. Especially if the child is in a system which encourages all this, when he came back, he kept the shoes right there. Plate was taken, when he played with the right material that he wanted to play with, after playing it went back to its place. I'm saying it went back to its place earlier when he was. Now is he doing it? Now 10 times you have to tell that fellow, please keep it back, please keep it back, where is your shoes, where is your socks? That's not because the child has become disorganized, because right now for the child, internal consolidation is more important than external order. What will you do about this? Earlier for the child, internal order and external order was equally important. Right now, internal consolidation is taking too much of my time. I am not bothered about what's happening outside. So I am throwing my desk there, I'm sure even now when you go back, you will still tell the child to keep things back in its place. But having known this, will you shout at the child? Maybe you will tell the same thing in a much softer way. Because now you know what is happening inside his head is more important than what is happening outside for the child. So this is what happens. The first thing for the child is, now it's not about, now first thing what happens is, when the child starts coming to Valiants or if they go to any school, you should not start thinking, all these years, no, he was so organized. I don't know what the school is doing to this fellow. Suddenly he has become disorganized. Sorry, Papa, it's not the school, it's the child. Wherever he goes, whether he comes to, because what happens is, in other systems, the child has put fear in the child's mind to behave the way you want him to behave. But because we understand what is happening in the child's mind, we are giving the child the freedom and the time to settle down at his pace. That's the only difference. Now, do you want to change the child because of fear? Or do you want the child to change because I want to change? That's a call. So that's the only difference that you will have. So the other aspect of this child is they are moving very beautifully to a reasoning state of mind. Earlier, when they asked you something, it was more of a what. What is it called? What is this? What is that? Correct? Today they are asking you what is enough for them? Why? How? Please don't think they are testing your intelligence. Because they know, you are their parents, they know how intelligent you are. So they are not testing your intelligence. But they are just trying to find out things for themselves. They have to live in this world. So I need to know. So please tell me. So if the child has got a reasoning mind, when the child has got the need to know things around, how can you tell the child, sit in one place, listen to what I am saying? How illogical is this? You can't talk. The first two things traditional system do to all of us is, they take away the fundamental right that I got when I was born. Movement and talking. Correct? There was a fundamental right I had when I was born. I used to cry and I used to move. What does school do first thing? Don't talk, don't move. How will this work? So if we allow the child in a state where the child wants to understand something, some aspects of life, when they ask about why and how, if the method of education is allowing this questioning to happen, isn't that the right way to look at it? Rather than saying you listen to what I'm going to say. So the second aspect of the child is they're coming to a reasoning state of mind where they want to know a little bit more about life, more about things around them. The what and the one word answers to them is no longer going to suffice for them. They want to know more about it. The third beautiful thing that happens to them is they are full of imagination. You must have heard all this children. See, what I'm doing is, I'm not saying anything new to you. I'm just asking you to reflect on what you're going to an experience with your own children. I'm just trying to put a mirror and say, this is why they're behaving the way they're behaving. So you must have seen, no, these children, how they imagine. One child at school gets hurt and they come back and say, Mama, my friend fell down and full blood only. You call up the school and check, there's a small point here. So nothing is, you can't even see it. Exaggeration, imagination is their nature. That's how they are. So you can't get paranoid. Mama, today I went to school, I fell down and my leg broke. Nothing, a small bruise will be there. Today, you know what happened? My auntie hit me. Auntie will just have to come, we'll go. That's all. So for them, everything is it's not, please don't, I'm not saying this, the child is trying to lie or something. Don't go to that extent, okay? Let us not get there, because that's the wrong word to use for children. When I take a session on parenting, I'll talk to you about what is actually lies. You should tell properly, what is a lie fundamentally? We'll talk about it later. Otherwise the session will go on in a different direction. So fundamentally what I'm saying is, because a child has got into this state of imagination and reasoning, they exaggerate, they reason everything, and they want to imagine things. Now if their ability to imagine is already there, shouldn't a method of education help that, nurture that, use it to educate the child? I should use imagination. No, the child is already imagination in nature. Should I use imagination as a part of my learning experience for the child? Very simple to do. So what do we do here at school, at Valiant? What do we do is, there are certain, that's what I told you, we're all storytellers, right? So there are stories that we tell children. About what? About the concept that they need to understand. One of the most favorite stories that I love narrating to parents, of course, when you have silent journey, I'll narrate it to next time. So it's a long process. They already told you, right? In the journey, you'll have lots of things to learn. So I'll take it one step at a time. So when we talk about imagination, there's one story called God with No Hands story. It's a beautiful story which is related to the coming of the universe. So there what we talk about is, we say, you know what? If you imagine sand being put on the entire state or entire country of India, and if the sand is some 100 kilometers in height, every grain of sand is a star in the sky. What an imagination for the child to get into. To understand the grain of sand can be a star in the sky. Shouldn't we use it? The child is already want to imagine stuff. Isn't it nice for us to give an opportunity for the child to imagine stuff? So that's what we do. We use those capacities or those tendencies of the child is used in the method of education. And these children are beautiful in terms of moral values. All this what I'm saying is just what I want you to observe. Have the child not come and ask you, is it right or wrong? And when you said, I think it is okay, they have told, Mama, is it right or wrong? Tell me correctly. And after you say it's right or wrong, they'll go to the other partner and ask, right or wrong again. They're not testing you, they're trying to find out whether when somebody says right and wrong, is it absolute or is it relative? What my papa says wrong can be wrong, my mama may be right. Because what are they trying to do? They are trying to cope with life. They are trying to cope with society tomorrow when they come out. And for that they need to understand how to cope with life, how to live in life. So one of the things very, very important for all of you at this stage, I tell this in parenting also, is very important is as parents you have to be consistent. Because a child is building value systems right now. When one of you say right, other one of you say wrong, the child will use it whenever he wants. Then don't tell the child, how can you do this to me? No, Mama told it's correct. Papa told this is okay. So unless you are clear, unless you are very clear about what is right and what is wrong, the child is getting mixed emotions or mixed feelings or mixed response to the same situation. So they are building moral values. The other thing also about these children is they are also forming the social groups. They want to have friends around them, no? Being alone is not their nature right now. Of course, I can't say this more because I don't know what all COVID has done those 2 years, but actually speaking, children actually want to be outside. Today it has become like children want to be inside. Why? Because they have got used to digital screens. Nothing else. They don't want to go and play. One big issue is happening now. No, children don't want to go outside and play. There's a big article that had come out in summer vacations. Those playgrounds were all free. Why everybody is busy inside the house? I hope your parents are not like that. I have to ask, raise your hands. Not ask. And they're also extremely discreet in their expressions. What is discreet? They just say what they feel. They are not putting this filter. For them, the filter is not there. So this is actually sometimes very embarrassing for us. They come to a function and they see a very well-built auntie or uncle there and they say, Auntie, he's very well-built. I don't want to use the word. So I'll leave it to you. So then you say, no, you can't say like that. In pre-primary you taught no thin and fat and long and short. Now you're saying don't use. What does it mean? You should be clear. You teach me something and you don't want to use it. But they don't mean any disrespect to anybody. The problem for us is we feel is disrespect. No. The child is not disrespecting. The child is just expressing what the child is already knowing about. I'm not saying we should not build. Yeah, there is another aspect where we need to build sensitivity in the child and tell them how to behave, how they should. That's a different thing. But to call somebody well-built as whatever you call them is not wrong. That is what it is. So we get offended by it. There's no need. Yeah, sensitivity we build with the children. And these children also have got varied interest and less of focus. Have you seen that? They ask you a question And before you even give the answer, they have one more question for you. They are not even waiting. You're all laughing means this is actually happening to all of you. That's what I told you. I'm not saying anything new. If you just observe the child, oh, this guy is saying exactly what's happening in my house. How does he know? I know because this is children, that's all, not about your house or your child. Yeah, that's how they are. Because they want to know so many things now. Why? Let me finish my answer. No, Mama, tell me this. No, Papa, I want this also to be known. So if this is the attitude that they have, if this is the mindset that they have, that I want to know too many things, and I'm very, my focus is short-lived, shouldn't the method also ensure that learning happens with repetition, not by doing the same thing, but by doing different things in a similar way? Right? What happens, technically what we are doing is, because we want the child to learn something, the only way any one of us can learn is by repetition. There's no doubt about it. But repetition can be in two ways. One, I repeat the same thing a number of times, or I repeat the same thing in different ways to understand the same concept. So what we do here is, we give multiple concepts or multiple presentations to the child, which enhances the same concept to the child. Not asking the child to do 10 times the same problem, because they don't like it. Their nature is they don't like it. So what's the point in telling them to do that? So multiplication, yes, multiplication is not just one idea. We give them multiple ways of multiplication. So they do this once, they do that next. What's happening? The concept is getting consolidated because they're working on it multiple times. So I'm just trying to share with you, I'm just trying to tell you how we should align to what the child actually understands rather than trying to go the other way around. So if any learning has to be effective, our belief is it should resonate with the child's tendencies. If learning has to be effective, if communication has to be effective, then I should know the language I should be aware of the language that you can understand it. Similarly, if education has to be effective, then it should align to the needs of the child. It should align to what the child is prepared to learn. So if you look at so this is about the child of Sana. I just give you a brief about it. There are many other aspects which are all used. Friendship building, decision making, conflict resolution, so many things are there. But if I take all the things in one section, you'll have to sit here till evening. So we'll not make you sit till evening. We've got long time to share a lot of things with you. So just I give you a quick brief about some critical aspects or I would say more core aspects of the child to understand. So if you look at the Montessori environment that we have, the primary environment that we have created, the philosophy is going to be Montessori based. So the idea about freedom of the child to choose the mentor that they want, allow them to work as long as they want. Those principles of Montessori is extended in an elementary environment also. So every activity the child performs is given equal importance. It's not that art is more important than science. I think that's why when you went around, I think they explained to you how even the infrastructure that we have created has to resonate with the philosophy that we follow. So even if you see arts and science in the same place. So the idea is that we should give equal importance to the child in anything the child does. How do you know? There may be a Van Gogh sitting in front of you and you want him to become an engineer. He likes to paint and you want him to go and construct something. That's not the way it works, right? So we should give them the opportunity to enjoy what they're doing. So as actually Mr. Chagraj was already mentioning, yeah, the child will know beyond the textbook. So don't take a second standard textbook and ask the child, has auntie done this lesson for you? He will say no. And then don't get paranoid. So no textbooks. Beautiful, no? What a relief for all of you. No homework, no exercises to be done, such a relief. So just be aware that there is the child will go, when I say they know beyond the textbook, what it means is, right now my interest is butterflies. Isn't it nice that I provide them an opportunity to know about butterflies right now? Yeah, there are aspects of it, there are methods that we follow where every aspect of the child, every academic aspect the child needs to know at a specific age is being transacted. There is a way we do it. But we do it in a manner that the child doesn't feel intrusive. Don't do it now. Now we'll do math, not that. So they will basically develop a love to learn. I think this is the fundamental thing that we should do. If I can love what I am doing, then it doesn't matter what I do. Today it is X, Y, and Z as a subject that I need to know. Tomorrow when I choose a profession which needs A1, B1 and C1 to be known, I will know it because I love to learn. That's what is instilled in them. it is definitely going to be their interest versus your interest. All the thing that we will do will be based on the interest of the child and not based on what you like the child to be doing. The first couple of years, the first pre-primary, what we call it as is, it will be mostly what they will be repeating of whatever they have done in Montessori if they have gone to, because they have to consolidate their learning. It's 2 months of grab that they take, they come back and all this psychological, physiological thing that have gone through is so much gone in them, so it will be more of a repetition that they will get. So when you chose a pre-primary environment, they said serendipity was a nice word that they used. So what did we do to choose a pre-primary environment for the child? 3.5-year-old child, 2.5-year-old child. What is it that we wanted? The one criteria that we all wanted was that school should be close to my house. That's the criteria. Something they are teaching, good. Some method they are following, better. But the only criteria was the child should be close to my house. I understand. So that is, and convenience for you, the style was all taken the next level actually. But when you choose an elementary child for the school, it should be based on a couple of things that I want you to understand. What is it that you are expecting out of your child? I am asking you right now. This is something that you have to be clear about. Are you looking at a competitive child? Again, please understand, I am not judging anything. I am not saying anything is right or wrong. I am not getting there. I am only telling you, reflect on what you want. Do you want the child to be a holistic learner? Do you want the child to be an academic performer? Both are beautiful. We all went to a method which was academically focused, and we are here today and we are talking to all of you. You are all sitting here today listening to something else. So it's beautiful, nothing is wrong, but let us be clear in our mind. What is it that I want from an institution? And definitely it should not be based on the distance of the school, whichever the school that you choose. Once you say I want my child to be competitive in nature, choose a method or choose a school which is competitive in nature. Holistic in nature, holistic in nature. So the choice that you make or the criteria you give to choose a school right now should be beyond this idea of it should be close to my house. Because now it is more about the child's development. First standard to 10th standard is a very, very critical stage for the child. So just be aware of it. Yes, we all understand that there is a road less taken. We know it. No, it is not that we are all aware of the end result, how it's going to happen. Can you give me, if the child comes to Valiants, we'll get 99.986%. In life they will get. Why 99.968? They'll get 100% in life. In board exams, I don't know. So it's very simple. We are actually putting ourselves completely open to you. I tell you why we are doing it. Because we would like you to choose us the way we are. Simple. So to choose a system like this, I'm sure a lot of consultation should happen. So my suggestion to all of you is to consult everybody whom you want before you choose something. And only if you feel that everybody is saying, okay, I think you're doing a right decision, otherwise, if you're so confident about the decision that you take, then choose this. Because you will get into peer pressure later. Child's peer pressure is different. We will all, as parents, will get into peer pressure. My child is in 5th grade and he can do division problem without looking at anything. And this child wants materials to use. Yeah, why? Because the child using materials understands the concept in a much concrete way, and the child who is doing it in an abstract fashion understands how to do it, that's all. You want an example? I always give this example. I want you to, only a couple of days back we realized this, how it works. 1/4 divided by 1/2. I always give this example. What will the child do? 1/4 divided by 1/2, they reverse 1/4 into 2/1. Correct? And you have the answer half. Over. Why did you reverse? Why did you make the numerator denominator?
You are told to do so.
Huh? Correct. Exactly. That's what we learned. And why did you make division multiplication? Everything you change. Half divided by 1/4 divided by half, you made division multiplication. You made numerator denominator. Why? How many engineers we have? Computer science graduates we have sitting here. Corporate people we have. But simple thing we don't know. Why? Because, exactly, somebody told us we did it. But will it not be nice for the child to know why it happened? That's what it is. So, That's how it works. That's how the system works. So just be aware of the decision that you're going to take. And whatever objective you take or whatever decision that you take to put the child right now, you should hold to the decision till he finishes 10th. Somewhere in the middle you should not get up and say, Jay, all this is fine, but what about exams? My child is so free. Every day he comes home and does nothing. Someone is enjoying it. He's having so much of fun. Sometimes I keep wondering, children having fun is a problem for them. Correct, no? Especially when they're in 10th grade and they're happy. How is it possible? How can you be happy when you're telling the entire house should be in tension? Then only that means the child is studying 10th standard. Otherwise, alto falto. So be clear. If you think the child should be happy in grade 1, the child will be happy and smiling in grade 10 also. If you feel uncomfortable then, don't put the child. Right now I'm telling you, 10th standard, see, she's laughing. She's a 10th standard child. She has got her midterm exam. We call it midterm exams, right? They got midterm exams from Monday. And this child is sitting there. If I told other children to come, everybody would have come. You say children not allowed. So please be clear. Please be clear about the reason why you choose Valiants. And just hold on to that reason. That's all I'm saying. If you think the happiness of the child is the single most important thing for you as a parent, then that should be your objective for the rest of your journey with us. You will not turn around any point in time and say, why is my child happy? How is my child happy? How is he still happy? Oh, don't get there. I keep telling this to all of you. I've repeated this to all my parents and giving this to you also. Doubt all that you want before you choose. But after you choose, don't doubt. Even in marriage also. Better to ask. In fact, I interviewed my wife for 1.5 hours before I got married. And now I don't interview anymore. So all that you want to know about the person, you sit and find out. And only when you trust that person, trust that relationship, trust that institution, then take a decision. After deciding, don't doubt. I think there he learns so much, here he's only doing so much. Don't do all that. You know why? Because it becomes extremely painful for both of us to keep justifying whatever we are doing. Very painful. For everything, if you have a question, it's not that we cannot answer, it's not that we don't have an answer. Everything that, as I told you, everything that we do at school is child-centric. Everything that we practice here is because the child needs it. So nothing arbitrary. So anything that you ask, any question that you want to ask, I'll put it to the child's perspective and tell you why we're doing it, because the child needs it. But how many things you want me to answer? And also the family is growing. Very, very nicely they said, yes, this is going to be a Valiants family. We have never looked at you are separate and I am separate. In fact, if the space provided, I would have loved to sit as a circle again and not like this. Because it's not you and me, it is us. The child has to be nurtured by both of us together, right? It's not about schools doing something different, you're doing something different. That's not the way it works. So just be clear. So just doubt as much as you want before. You ask as many questions as you want. Get all your clarity done. But after you choose to put your child in this space, please don't have these fundamental doubts. You know? So that's why I said you choose whatever you want and then, see, it's very simple here. This is like this. Suppose what will you use example this time? Orange or apple? Apple will use. Okay. Let us say you go and sit under an apple tree. Okay. You go sit under an apple tree. What should you expect will fall from the apple tree? Huh? Leaves and apple, no. Okay, leaf we leave it. Look at the fruit. Apple only will fall. You are sure? Now if you sit under an apple tree and expect oranges to fall, whose fault is it? Two things possible. One, either you're sitting under the wrong tree or you're having wrong expectations. So what should you do? Go and sit under an orange tree. You will get oranges. So I am telling you, we are all apples. So if you sit under an apple tree, you will get apple only. Don't sit under an apple tree and expect us to behave like traditional schools. That will not happen. So, as I told you, our idea of this orientation for us today is to literally tell you who we are and what we will do. And for you to find out if what we do resonates with what you think. Again, let me repeat, it's never about right or wrong. It's just about who we are. We are different, this is how we are. You like us, great. You don't like us, also great. Doesn't matter. But this is how we are going to be. Yeah, the freedom to the child is given. Now, of course, when I say freedom, freedom is given with discipline, it's given with responsibility. It's also given with logical consequences. What's the logical consequence? I'll not get there. One day I'll talk to you about, whenever we have time, we'll talk to you about rewards and punishment also. Yeah, punishment is a wrong word to use, but there's a way you look at it. There is an ABC of parenting. You can talk about it some other time. And the other thing is, as I said, because we are a system like this, please do not compare any two systems. And please do not compare even two schools which follow the same system. Right? There are many Montessori schools that are there, elementary that are there. They have their own way of functioning, we have our own way of functioning. It's not that they are right and we are wrong, or we are right and they are wrong. It is unique. What we believe, what is the, the intensity of belief that we have is what we follow in the method. So please don't compare the schools, and please don't compare the methods also. They're going to be different anyways. So here again, we are going to use the Montessori materials only till the child is, for the conceptual understanding of the children. Learning happens at the child's pace. They take their time, they understand what they want to know, and they maybe repeat it multiple times before they even go to the next concept. We always have encouraged collaborative work and also self-development. They need to, internal excellence and internal improvement is what we all encourage the child to be. So formal assessments will not be there for the children. So there is no idea of tests and exams and all that. It's not going to be there. However, there is a process in place that we have where every single child is monitored by us to know what the child should be given next. So it's not that it's a free environment for all. It's not like that. There is a structure in place, but the structure is not similar to the structure that we see outside. The structure is different. So every child's progress is completely recorded by us. We know what the child should know next, what the child has learned enough. So that recording is being maintained. So no exams and no tests. Up to 6th grade, there's not going to be any exams and any tests. 7th grade, they will have review papers. We call them as review papers, but no marking will be done. And from 8th, 9th, 10th, of course, we are aligning to CBSE and making sure that, of course, the alignment of CBSE from the beginning itself, but in terms of marks and exams and all that. So grade 1 right now, as per what, see, the government also is flipping sides now. Once they say NEP, once they say no NEP. So we don't know whether the government is going to last before the next academic year. so with all this confusion right now, we are holding on to what they have said. So they have said 6 years should be the age of the child. So we're looking at 6 years for grade 1 admission. If they flip sides and say no, we'll go back to 5.5 years, we do not. We leave it there as of now. So as I said, we'll be following Montessori approach till the child is in 6th standard. 7th standard is going to be an integral approach, because we're going to move them to the classroom setting. Sit on the table and chair, look from the board and listen. So because we moved them to that, we gave them 1 year of transition time, that's in 7th grade. 8th, 9th and 10th, they will get back to the idea of being in a classroom. So when you look at the first 1 to 6, 1, 2, 3 is together as mixed age group, 4, 5, 6 is together as mixed age group. Now why mixed age group? How are you mixing it? How are you monitoring it? If you want, it's going to take a longer time, but just this is how we are. So when you get admission, then we'll let you know why we follow that method. I think one of the parents already told you, right? The learning will happen from an older child and the teaching from the older child to younger child. So fundamentally that is the reason. So as always, what we expect is the parents who have encouraged and helped us are the people who are there with us right now. So as parents, when you join us, you should also be participating with us. That's the only success factor for the philosophy like this, and a method which is different, is possible when all of us are on the same page. And that can happen only if you are participating with us. So when we have orientations, when we have sessions, when we have meetings, when we have open houses, silent journeys, you be a part of it more, you get to understand us better. So the more you are with us, the more you know who we are, and the more you know what the child is learning. Otherwise it becomes very difficult. Staying away from it will not help you understand anything, especially when you don't get marks cards home. Right? When you get a marks card home, we are all very happy. No, there's no marks card. Even when you get an observation report at the end of the year, you get a qualitative observation report, not a quantitative one. How the child is learning, what the child is learning. Our observation reports are 3 pages. I want you to read those 3 pages before you come for the PDF. But not qualitative. Qualitative very easy, no? You got 80 on 100, oh, my child is good in math. 45 on something, oh, my child needs a little bit more help in this subject. Very easy, but otherwise you can't make out. So the more you get involved, the more you get to know what we're doing and what the child is learning. So in terms of challenges, I already told you, So if the child is interested in a specific subject, some specific topic for a long time, they tend to learn it more. They want to be participating in it more for a longer amount of time. Yeah, so what do? This is a challenge that we have. So the way we handle it is, we see how we can connect what the child loves to what the child should learn. What is referred to as cosmic education. If you look at it, everything that is done right now is all connected. Math is connected to history, history is connected to geography, geography is connected to civics, everything is connected. So if I take the child from what the child likes to what I should help the child with, that's the way we move the child. So if the child is interested in a specific topic for a long time, it is not that he will stay with it for a long time. He will also move. We should give it the time and space. In fact, we had some instances where these children work with geography. I think fourth year of our school, third year. So third year of our school, there was one batch of children who did geography for half the year. And these children knew the places on the map that we could not even find using a lens. Because they were so keen of geography. Then what happened? I know what your question is. Then what happened to other subjects? I am reading your mind straight away. So what happens is, if you look at a 3-year time period, even though these learnings happen in sporadic manner, that I like history, so I learn history a lot, over a period of 3 years, what the child should know, all the concepts the child should know, 95% to 98% they will all have reached that age. It is just that right now geography is important for them. That's all it is. So if we can give that time for the child to understand, we can move on. It will consolidate over a period of 3 years time. So as I was mentioning, when we talk about freedom and discipline and logical consequences that we give here, we expect the same thing to be done at home. Now, how to do it, we'll let you know. Because freedom to the child at this age at home, very difficult to imagine, no? Everything you want to control. What dress the child wears, you want to control. If you are feeling cold, the child should wear warm dress. That's how you all want to be, right? The child is feeling hot, so here the child is coming and says, Uncle, we are feeling, Auntie, we are feeling very, very hot. We say, remove it, no, simple. No, my mama has put. Poor fellow. He is sweating and he has to put it. All you people do to children. So just we'll talk about it, how to give them freedom, how to make sure that they align to how do they use the freedom given to them. You can talk about all that. I'll tell you one thing. Over a period of time, you'll all come and tell us, how is it he's different in school and why is it he's different at home? He will tell you this. Mark my words, keep it in writing. 3 years from now, I'm predicting the future follows. 3 years from now, the child will say, I would like to, not 3 years is a long time, 1 year only he will tell you. Why are you like this? My aunties are better.
Can you repeat that?
Sorry?
Last part. Can you repeat the last sentence? I couldn't hear.
Okay, I only said, they will come and say, my aunties are better at school. My aunties at school are giving me more freedom, they give me allow me to do whatever I want, but here you're constantly on my head. Don't do that, don't do this, keep it back, do. Here also they do everything. I mean, of course, when you come for observation, you understand all that. So coming to the last part of administrative aspects, yes, we are a school which is an entity of the trust. We are CBSE affiliated school right now. So yes, when we started, we are a state board affiliated, which is a requirement of the board, and then we have to move to CBSE board. We are recognized by CBSE right now. We have a van facility that is going to be there. So there are multiple routes of the vans that we have. Children will have to be at school from 8:50 in the morning to 3:30 in the afternoon. So that's when it is. So we are serving them one snack in the morning as soon as they come. They have lunch at school, and they also have snack in the evening. So when I say you have to agree with whatever we do, you have to agree with whatever we give them at school also. We give them ragi balls at school. How does that sound? Yeah. So my child doesn't know how to eat. Yeah, we had children. It was so nice to, when the children come for the first couple of days, no, it is beautiful to see what else they don't know. To eat rice, one finger. Or they ask, can we have a spoon? Or they ask, Uncle, can we have ghee? Ghee, they want ghee. And ragi balls, how will they eat? They'll obviously chew only and eat. It's okay, let them chew and eat. It's so beautiful to see how they, after 6 months, after 1 year, how they transform themselves and how they are so beautifully enjoying what is done here. You get to know all that. So basically what I'm saying is, even what we provide at school is keeping the child nutrition only in mind. Okay, and if we have to, why this school thing, why lunch we are providing? Yeah, because I think they must have already told you. The idea is that only when you eat hot food, you eat not as much as required. If you eat cold food, you eat more than what is required. It's not what I am saying. Anyway, whatever I say, you go into Googling only, no. Google Ambika is there, Google Auntie is there. You'll go and type and see. This is the truth. The hot Ayurveda says this. And if you sit and eat, you eat how much you want to eat. You stand and eat, you eat differently. You sit on a chair and eat, you eat differently. The body is a fantastic mechanism. It is not that it is just you can do whatever you want with it and everything will happen. It doesn't work like that. Every single posture of yours has got an effect on what we think, the way we behave. Not too much to okay. So as we already told you, we have only one section in the school. So 35 children is only what we can take. So last time when we started off, we gave only, there was no point for us to issue some 500 applications and then say we'll only take 35. So what we said was last time we gave out, I think last time we gave 70 applications, 2 times of what we wanted to take. But then lots of parents said, so at least give us an opportunity to be in the school, be in the orientation, be a part of your session, let us see how it works. So then we have made it to 105. So we decided that this time we are only going to give out only 105 applications. Because there's no point, what is the point in giving 600 applications and then taking out 35 children? So we are limiting it there itself. So admission is given till grade 7. Of course, higher grades, the number of admissions are very limited. Very few children are going to take. So the issue of applications is going to happen as soon as we finish this session. In front of the library area, the counters are kept. You can pick up the application if you want. So after you submit the application, what we also want you to do is, one thing is about listening to whatever I've told you now. Right? This is only the philosophy aspect of it, the practice aspect of it. But we really want you to come and experience this also. We want you to understand what we are talking. When I say freedom for the child, when I say the child is working by independently, when we say the children are working in mixed stage group, of course you still have a doubt. How can they work in mixed stage group? Grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, all of them in the same place? And we all hear about all these things, older child, troubling the younger child, how will he manage? So there are various things that we have done in school which does take care to a large extent these aspects of the child which is there in other places. So we would like you to come and observe. So what we have done this time is, when you come to submit the application, you will be given time slots to observe the environment. Okay, so when you submit, you observe the environment. After you observe the environment, you will also have an interaction with one of the adults. So that will be your first round of interaction. So all these 3 things can be planned on the same day. So maybe submit the application, 15 minutes observation, maybe 10 minutes. So half an hour is maximum that you will have to come here on that. So that we will be doing. So after that is over, the application will be reviewed by us, and then the children may be called for an observation within the environment, which will be from 3 to 5 days. Because sometimes we feel if the child especially is coming from a non-Montessori background, we need to see how the child can adapt to this methodology. It's not about we are not talking about the child is intelligent or not. That is not the concern. The question is, in a freedom environment, in a space which is so much of freedom is given to the child, can the child manage that freedom? Can the child has the seating capacity to sit and learn? That's what we want to know. So to make sure that we are having the children to whom we can help. When we have children, we should be able to help them, right? And the only way we can help them is if they're able to align to what we are doing at school. So keeping that in mind, some of the times we may ask the children to be at school for 3 days or 5 days, depending upon the time we feel we need to observe the child. Then we'll be shortlisting the parents, and then we will be calling you for another round of interaction with us. By the group of people will be assigned by the trust, and that interaction will be from 15 to 20 minutes. Or maybe a little longer, depending upon what you want to ask. All that you want to ask, you can ask them. We'll answer any questions that you have. And also the child also will be a part of that interaction. We would like to see the child, talk to the child, and see what the child really wants to know. And interacting with the children is the best thing for us. So beautiful to talk to them. Their innocence and their love that they want to express is so beautiful. So we really want to hear them also. So they'll be here. So and the offer of admission will be based on these outcomes. So all this will be taken into consideration, and we will let you know about the admission that we can offer you. So in terms of timelines, issue of applications up to 23rd of September. This will start on 23rd September. Invitation for environment observation from 26th November, we'll call you for observation. So time slots will be given to each one of you. So looking at your convenience, you'll see how we can structure that. 26th of October onwards, we'll have observation. So we can also come and start submitting the applications there. Last date of receipt of application will be 1st of November. Interaction calls will be from 2nd of November onwards. So we'll be given calls for the interaction that we'll be having with you. And intimation of admission offer letters will be sent to people, parents who have been who we feel are aligned to the philosophy of Valiants from 4th November onwards. So timelines are clear. So 23rd September starts the publication. 26th November is the observation, intimation for you to come and observe, submit, observe, and have a first interaction. 1st November, last day of application, receiving applications. Interaction calls from 2nd November, intimation of accepted parents from 4th of November. Just to conclude this thing, as I said, I'll repeat this again. This session was only to let you know who we are and what we are. Please don't use whatever I've told you right now to fill the application form. That will not be it. We need you to fill the application form depending upon what you think is right. And this idea was to make out, we are all like this. This is how Valiance is. This is how you are. If you feel that your value systems, your method of educating the child, your principles, your philosophies match with what we are, then I think you should get together. So please fill up the application based on that. Don't use this as a, this should not be like a question paper being leaked before the examination. So don't use it like that. Don't misuse this idea. The purpose is that. As I told you, if we are different, let us be like that. We are different and we will stay the way we are. So if you like us, we'll love you. If you like us, we will love you. So we leave it to you. So just to rewrap the whole thing, I think we started off the whole session by talking about the personal aspect of yours. We said about the ego. So you can make a call, whether you want to hold on to it, whether you want to drop it. At least our request is, at least with the children, you please drop that thing. The second thing is I spoke to you about the butterfly and the child, and I just would like you to reflect upon, are your intentions aligned to your actions? You have one intention for the child. I'm sure as parents, all of us have got the best intention for the child. I have not met any parent who has got wrong intention for the child. But the challenge is our actions are not aligned to our intentions. The child is crying for a long time, I don't want him to cry, kick the mobile phone. Yeah, your intentions are okay for the child not to cry, but what happens to the child if the child is exposed to a digital screen for a long time, one more session can be taken. So just be aware of what your intention, what your actions are. I spoke to you about the purpose of Valiants. I said if the only purpose that we have in mind is to see that the child comes here with a glowing in the eye, enthusiastic to be in life, and we'll ensure that by the end of the term that the child is with us, the child will go back with that same enthusiasm. That is what we will assure you. And we also spoke about how the method that we follow aligns to the tendencies of the child. The child has got some tendencies, the way they want to learn. And the method that we follow aligns to those tendencies in which the child will be learning. I also discussed to you about some of the challenges that we may have along the way, especially the idea that the child learns a specific area for a longer time. And what do we do about it? I also spoke to you about the administrative aspect of the whole thing, about the timelines, and saying that you have applications, then you have submissions, you have got observation, then you have got interaction, then you have got one more set of interaction, and then children coming to school for observation if it's necessary. So thank you so very much. As I said, I'm really, really excited to talk to parents, especially knowing the fact that so many of you are interested to look at education differently for your child. What you choose, what you don't choose, absolutely is your criteria. But the idea is that you're all looking for it, the possibility of something different. So thank you for being with us and giving us a chance to explain who we are and what we do. Thank you so very much, and I love you all the time. Thank you.